Hey, fellow Flavor and Co from astrology.com. I wanted to make a video on something we call the lonely moon in astrology in your natal chart. This is all about one birth chart. This is about one individual person. Your moon is your emotions, and in your birth chart, your moon is in a zodiac sign in the left side of the birth chart, and then on the right side, or wherever, somewhere in different websites, there's, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, there. This is my natal chart, and the houses, it has the moon. So anyway, I want to talk about your emotional stability. If you are emotionally stable or unstable, it has to do with the houses, the moon, certain planets beside it, or before or after, or anyway. So what I want to do is, if you want to get a a birth chart of yours, you can go on my website. There's a couple different options of different types of birth charts, astrology.com, or there's other ones like this one. This is not my website, but this is just a website where you can find a natal chart. So what you need to do is look at the moon, which house it's in, and then to be emotionally grounded or stable, you need certain planets before or after it. The house before it or the house after it. My moon's in the 8th house, and I have Mars and Venus in the 9th. So I have emotional stability. If you look at the planets before or after the moon, you need to look at Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Do not look at anything else that is with it, or after it, or before it, or anywhere else for what I'm talking about. The house before or after the moon, and Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Otherwise, it's not, you don't have emotional stability, like if you had those planets before or after the moon. But if you have some other things, these planets, other places in the natal chart, you can have some stability, but not as powerful. So anyway, we'll talk about that later on. But so okay, let's see if I can. With the arrow there, that's Mars. That's Venus, the one that was beside it. That's Jupiter. That's Mercury. right there where that 26 is, that's Saturn. I say all of them. Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury. Did I? I think. Yeah. That's the planets you need to look at in your natal chart to see if you have this emotional stability. Otherwise, it's not going to be like the outer planets. They're the invisible planets. They don't count. That's not going to help you with anything. You can't look at the sun and the moon either because that's not going to help you with your emotional stability. Because I mean, we're talking about moon for in the first place, so you don't look at that one. So anyway, yeah, when you look at your birth chart and you want to see if you have this emotional stability, you can look at the Western or the Vedic natal chart. This is the ascendant, and that's the first house that starts the natal chart. And it goes around. You can see the numbers. That's the house. And the planet, the symbols I showed you, and then these are the letters that are beside them, maybe or wherever in your natal chart. ME is Mercury, VE is Venus, MA is Mars, JU is Jupiter, SA is Saturn. So you only look at these before or after. So if your moon's in the 10th and Saturn's here, or Jupiter's here, you look at that. And then we'll talk later about the other possibilities of how you can have a little bit of emotional stability, but it's not going to be the same. So this is Vedic chart. Here's the Western. My fingers are covering up what I'm going to talk about later. So if your moon's here, then Mars is here, or Venus is here, or if you just have Mercury and Mars here, whatever, it's all the same. If it's just in one before or after, or in two, the more the better, obviously. So if you have, so let's say you have Mercury in the one before or after, and then, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to talk about Mercury through Saturn to tell you what is happening. If you have a planet before or after and you're emotionally stable, if it's Mercury's communicating and thinking and skills, and it's your sense of humor, it's your logic, it's all about the mind, what's happening in your mind, or, whatever. So if you have Mercury, if you are in a situation where your emotional state is, being, tried, like, seeing how you react. If you have Mercury, you're going to react in a logical way, in a good way, like you can communicate well with if there's people involved in it. If you're at work and something good or bad happens to catch you off guard, and you react with Mercury there in the sign in the house before or after, you'll be able to use your logic well. You'll be able to communicate well with the people that you're dealing with. That, if they surprise you with something bad or something good, you'll be able to maybe use your sense of humor to react kindly to the situation. Mercury is communicating, so maybe it could be reacting in a sarcastic way. I mean, that can happen, but whenever you have one of these 5 planets before or after the moon, it's a good thing. So even if you react in some kind of powerful way or whatever, it's still gonna be a good thing. It's still gonna ground you emotionally without, much of a bad consequence, The moon is your emotions, like I said, and it's like, whenever, it's like, like a nerve, like whenever something hits the nerve and it reacts a certain way, it reacts with Mercury, like we're talking about, or one of the other planets, or with none at all. But it's the planet, the house before or after the house that the moon is in. It's like a protection. It's like a shield for that nerve. Like here's the one house with moon in it. Here's the other house. This is the shield. With Mercury in it. Mercury is protecting the moon, that nerve. That got hit with whatever good or bad thing. So it protects it with Mercury, like, qualities. Like I said, reacting in a good way, like with, some kind of logical comment, like, especially, I mean, it doesn't matter what zodiac sign Mercury is in. If Mercury is before or after the moon, then it'll be all the same, basically. But the zodiac sign can add to it of how exactly you react. The earth signs are more grounded. The fire signs are going to be more fiery and feisty, and the water signs are more emotional. The air signs are thinking signs. So, yeah, you'll react in a Mercury way, like a logical way, thinking through, what to say or not to say. Um, you know, you can use your logic to react in a proper way that helps the situation, not hurts it. Venus is love in the 5 senses, and it's what you value. It's like it's class. It's all those kind of things. So if you have Venus in the house, like if it's blurry. If Moon is here and then Venus is here, or Mercury's here in the 5th or the 3rd, that's before or after the 4th. So if you have Venus here, you're going to react in a Venusian way, like a loving way, a classy way, with dignity and with, all those kinds of things, class, not childish, not immature or not, mean, or, it'll be in a Venusian way, like, and, it'll be like with, how you value yourself or what you value, it'll be like in a way that you're valuing how you react to the situation. People will see that about you and say she or he, whoever, values what people see in them. That's Venus. It'll be in a loving, classy way. It'll be like, not like putting down someone. It'll be like, I mean, especially in certain zodiac signs, it can be like we're all equal. Let's deal with this properly. You're equally and loving, and like no one's better than the other, or you know whatever. I mean, if Venus is in a fire sign, there will be a feisty, loving way. Even it'll definitely be Venus and loving and class, but it'll be in a fiery way, like whatever. I mean, it just depends on the zodiac sign too, but it's still gonna be Venus no matter what zodiac sign it is. So, um, Mars is gonna be like it can be like overreacting. It can be Mars's actions, so it'll be like maybe it's still good. It's all of these: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. If it's before or after, it's still good. It's not gonna be bad. It's still gonna be that shield protecting the moon, that nerve or whatever. No matter what you react like, it's still that, whenever something hits the moon, that nerve, it's still gonna Mars. I mean, when something hits, is trying to hit the moon here, and Mars is in between, it's gonna react like in a really action kind of way, like Mars kind of way, with some comment or some action thing, doing something, reacting to the situation, like getting something done, not just standing there, sitting there, whatever, and taking it. You react like you know with some action, or it can be, like I said, some overreaction kind of. It can be like some really feisty way, some powerful, like even it's not going to be like the moon is surprised, like because they don't have that protection, but Mars could overreact like in a Marsy way, in a not in a unstable way, but it can be like you react too much to it, or too enthusiastic or whatever, but it's still going to be good because Mars is one of the planets that is considered that protection for the moon. Basically that's what that is. Jupiter is going to be like with wisdom, and like your belief system is Jupiter, so it'll be like uh what with some kind of a knowledge or wisdom, or some kind of in a nice way. Jupiter is one of the benefic planets, so it'll be in a loving way. It'll be Jupiter can be religion, so it can be in a religious way, or it can be some kind of a knowledgeable way, but not like Saturn, like the grown-up planet, in a grown-up way, just like with wisdom, like you just know what to say or what to do, like in a Jupiter kind of way. Um, Let me see, and I'll just keep going with this, and I'll say more. Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is the grown-up planet. Saturn is unemotional. So if Saturn is before or after the moon, or like I said, we'll talk later about the other things, you'll react in a Saturn way, like an unemotional way, detached way, a more grown up way, more like you're thinking logically about what of the situation, and you'll react like without a bunch of emotions, and you'll react in a mature way, or you know um Saturn's the grown-up planet, so whatever grown-ups act like, whenever you are being mature, not whenever an adult is being immature, but whenever you're being the classic kind of mature adult, self, that's what Saturn reacts like. So, and I should say Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. Neptune also rules Pisces, but anyway, Saturn rules Aquarius, and Capricorn and Uranus rules Aquarius too. But anyway, that's beside the point. They could rule a couple planets or zodiac signs sometimes. Some of them. So whenever you're reacting in a Mercury or Jupiter way, it's also like that zodiac sign that you're reacting like. Sagittarius would be like, sunny and cheery and, not like emotional or, like gloomy or, that's also Jupiter. Let me see. There's Libra. Venus is like the balance sign, so balancing out your emotions, if it's one way too much, then it balances it out so it's stable, that would be that kind of thing. Taurus is ruled by the second house, so it's stability. It likes to stay the same, nothing changing, so it reacts in a Venusian kind of way like that. Like it likes for things to be stable, which is Venus, Mercury, let me see. I'm just trying to add a little bit of what I didn't say already. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. That's how they are. If you wanna see further with moon, if there's something with the moon that can take away from your emotional stability, the north and south node. The north node Rahu, south node Ketu. If they're like eclipses, and whenever you have an eclipse on your moon, it's unstable, like, emotional, like you don't know what's going on, that kind of thing. So if the north or south node is in the same house as the moon, it's going to take away from your emotional stability. And if you have one of the 5 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, before or after the moon, that's best. Not that you can help it. It's best for your emotional stability. If the north and south node, if the north or south node is in the house that the moon is in, it can't be both. But if one of those is with it, and then you have one of those 5 planets before or after it, that's always going to help it, be more stable. But the north and south node are always going to make it unstable. And then if you want to see further, if you look at the moon and you don't have one of those 5 planets before or after it, you can look at some other things to see if there's going to be just a little bit of stability. It's not going to be as strong, but it's going to be some, especially if the north and south node aren't, or the south node isn't with the moon. That's always good, you know. If the one of those 5 planets that I mentioned is either opposite the moon on an angle or within the same house as the moon, it'll be some stability. It'll be somewhat of like that shield, that protection, you know. But it's not going to be as powerful if it's in the house before or after it. So if the let's use this one just to let you see what is going on here. If the moon is in the 3rd house, and then you have nothing in the 2nd or 4th, but on an angle, it's you have the Mars or something that's gonna make it more stable. Or if you have the moon in the 1st house, and then you have Jupiter in the 7th, and then you have Mars in the 4th, and then you have, you know, Saturn in the 10th. That's going to be much more better than just having one of those, because it's in all 4 angle houses. Or if there's something in the moon house also, those are, or, you know, if the moon is in the 2nd house and you look at the angle houses from it, yeah, or like I said, the same house, that's gonna be much better than nothing at all. It won't be like having it in the house before or after, but it'll definitely be better than having nothing. So that's that. I think I explained it pretty well. You know, if your moon's your emotions, if you have one of those 5 planets before or after, or to a lesser degree in an angle house or the same or opposite house as the moon, it'll give you some emotional stability. Those 5 planets are like, you know, whenever the moon's in a certain house, and then the next house, here's Mars or something, and then something hits the moon. Mars protects it, you see. It shields it from if it's without anything at all, and it can really hit it and hurt it, you know. So that's that. I think that's pretty explanatory. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. So, yeah, that's one interesting thing about astrology you can look at to see how emotionally stable you are in your natal chart. So yeah, if you want to leave comments on the YouTube section there, feel free. And I'll be making more videos soon, so check back for those.